Okay, so I showed you how to draw a building. I showed you how to make doors on the front and the side. Now let's look at windows. These offices or these buildings would be fairly boring if they didn't have some windows for the people inside of them to look out. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some windows. Now there are two different kinds of windows that are fairly easy. There are what I call bar windows, and then there are individual windows, okay? So I'm going to show you how to draw a bar window on the front of the building. I'm going to continue working on this building. So I'm going to get my horizontal line, because it's going to be parallel because it is on the front of my building, okay? And I'm going to draw the bottom of my window. Now notice, I left room at the corners where the buildings turn and go back into space. That's because buildings usually don't have windows right at the corner, okay? You remove part of the corner of the building and the building isn't quite as strong. So if you pay attention to buildings as you're walking home or riding the bus or just wandering around downtown, you'll notice that aren't a lot of them that have buildings right up to the very corner. It just removes a lot of the stability of the building itself. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the verticals to my window. I'm going to get parallel, line it up, slide it back to where my line was, and draw how tall I want my window to be. Okay, get parallel. How tall do I want my window to be? Basically, I'm drawing a rectangle, but I want it to be parallel both horizontally and vertically. Okay, so as long as you get your rectangle drawn and you've got parallel horizontal lines and parallel vertical lines for the front of the building, that's what's important. It doesn't really matter which line you drew first. Okay, so this is a bar window. There's my rectangle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it into smaller rectangles, okay? So how many windows do I want to have, okay? If you're one of those people that it's going to bother you that they're not exactly the same exact size, measure, divide it out, figure out how many windows you can put in easily. I think I'm going to divide this into 4 pieces. I got a big one. Let's see here. I think I can divide it one more time. Okay? So, pretty easy. Just a standard rectangle divided into smaller pieces. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows out of that one rectangle. Okay? That's probably the easiest way to draw windows. Now let's look at another easy way to draw windows on the front, but individual windows. So, I'm going to get my parallel horizontal line again. This time I would recommend starting off with the bottom of the window. And I'm going to draw a broken or a dashed line across my building. Okay, they're all in line. I didn't move the ruler. Okay, I just drew all of them across. Okay, now I'm going to do all my vertical lines. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. I'm going to get my parallel. I'm going to pull it back to where that first line starts. And I'll draw my vertical up. Pull it over. Where does the line end? Draw my line. Here's my next window. Draw my line. Draw my line. Now it's pretty clear that these kinds of windows don't really belong, you would probably have the same kind of window on the entire building. But I just wanted to show you 2 different kinds of windows that you can draw. Now I'm going to draw the top of my building, top of my windows. So again, get my parallel, slide it up. You can see that some of them are a little taller than others. That's okay. I can always erase the little extra. Okay? And there is a row on the front of individual windows. But what about the sides? Well, just like when we did the door, we're going to have to line it up with our vanishing point. So if I wanted to do a bar window on the side, I would line up with my vertical line that is farthest from my vanishing point. I would slide it over into the building towards the vanishing point, and I would draw how tall I want my window to be. Then I would go from the bottom or the top, it doesn't matter which one I do first, and I would draw towards the vanishing point. Remember, stopping short of going right out of the building, because we want to make sure that our building, the windows aren't trying to take some of the support of the building. Now I need to make the last vertical line for the outside of the window set. And there is the outside structure of my window. Now I'm going to divide it into smaller pieces, okay? Now, as things go towards the vanishing point, they get smaller. That's okay. So if yours gets smaller or you think it looks weird, that's okay. As long as you've lined up with the vanishing point, you're okay. So there's a bar window, using the vanishing point to make it on the side. To make individual windows, I would do the same exact steps. I would start off with my vertical line. This time I start off with my vertical line because I need to be able to use my vanishing point. So I'm going to start off with my vertical line. That's parallel. Now what I'll do is I will go from the bottom. I suppose you could do the top first. I usually just do the bottom. And I will draw my broken line going towards the vanishing point. Then I will get my parallel again, and I will draw the vertical part, the second vertical part of each window. So I have all the verticals done. You see my windows are not exactly the same size. I would want to go back and fix this if I was actually going to keep this. Okay, so make sure that you're taking your time. So I would line up now the top with the vanishing point, and I would draw my individual tops. Okay, I got a little bit longer in some places, so obviously I want to go through and erase the little bits that weren't exactly right. But that is how you add windows to the front. That is how you add windows to the side. You are expected to add things to both sides if you can see both sides of the building. They cannot just be left blank. Okay, so that is how you add doors and windows to the front and to the side of a building in one-point perspective.